Am Robin. I am your teacher in this lesson tonight. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about world news. We're going to talk about issues around the world in a polite way. I do not like fighting in the chat. So we are not going to be political. We're just going to talk in a friendly way about the world news. And the countries that we are talking about, oh, before we get that, we are talking about these countries. I have a story from Korea, where I am now, Somalia, Iran, USA, UK, Pakistan, and Taiwan. These are the stories I'm going to cover today. We're going to learn a lot of vocabulary and we're going to learn about the news. I am not a journalist. I am an English teacher, so I do not know everything about the news. So I do hope my students fill in the gaps. And of course, I do have a lot of channels: Shaw English, IELTS Insider, Daily English Homework, Learn English Live. Please join and be active in my other channels. You can find the links below this video in the description. And of course, please think about becoming a YouTube channel member or join my WhatsApp group. All right. Always we need support. Let's get into, before we get into the news, let's just check the students that have come. Who do we have here? Cavino, hello. Nasima, hello. Buya Aqua. I'm not sure if I say your name correctly. Hello, Teacher Robin. Nice to see you here. Sleepwalker is here. Now, Sleepwalker, I do purposely not talk about your country's news. Of course, your country is in the news these days. I don't talk about that. There's some news I can't touch. Carlos, hello. Sally May, hello. Welcome. I will talk about Iran in topic number 3. May is here. Harry 300. Anna. And Sade, hello again. Pallavi. Oh, Stacy John. I'm doing fine. I did have a bad day in the morning. Oh, I'm out of focus. I had a bad day in the morning because of the number 1 news that we'll talk about. Arwa, hello. And Mohammed, I'm going to talk about Iran. So I might be doing this every week, depends on the response today. But if you join the WhatsApp group and, update me on any news stories in your country, I would be very happy. Let's get to the first news story. Oh, I'm jumping ahead. Let's get to the first news story. I'm going to come down to the bottom here. Of course, the big news out of South Korea, where I'm at. I've lived in South Korea 23 years, and this news is pretty shocking to me. Of course, let's take a look at the headline very quickly. South Korea mourns. So I highlighted the word mourn, purple. What does mourn mean? That's the word I want you to focus on. South Korea mourns, wants answers after Halloween crush kills 153 people. A lot more were injured. So if you don't know, last night was a Halloween party in South Korea. Every year, they usually have a party in this area called Itaewon in South Korea. I've been to Itaewon many times, but I don't go there these days because I'm too old. That's a place where the young people go to have fun and drink on the weekend. And Halloween is, they dress up, they go there. It's a big event. And 153 people died because there was just too many people pushing and pressing. Wow. I talked to a lot of people today in the WhatsApp groups, and they said, well, in Saudi Arabia and Mecca, they had the stampede a few years back. 1,000 people died. And of course, soccer stadiums around the world, there's a long history of stampedes. Uh, and those are terrible incidents themselves. But, you know, when you hear, oh, there's a lot of people at the soccer stadium and stampede, okay, that's happened a few times. And then Mecca, yeah, that's happened a few times. But this is just unexpected, and so many people died. Wow. So let's take a look. Zachariah Hussein feels sorrow. That's mourn. Yeah, you have to mourn. You feel sorrow. You think about. Uh, you think about. You feel sad and you mourn. You think about the deaths of the people. You have to consider them and uh, try to cope or handle the situation. You have to mourn. You feel sorrow. And yeah, you're going through hard times because of the death of people. And if you saw my live stream this morning, I did a live stream where I went to, I was working near Itaewon and I walked over to Itaewon and oh, it was shocking to me to see all the police, the news reporters from around the world. It's just so sad. Oh, I can't, actually I can't talk about the morning because I'll cry. I cried this morning and I'll cry again. It's just sad. All right, let's take a look at the paragraph I have here. So shocked family members collected bodies. Parents searched for children, and a country sought answers on Sunday after at least 153 people were crushed to death when a crowd in South Korea surged in an alleyway during Halloween festivities. What's sought? What is the word sought? Yeah, that was my toughest life up. What is sought? Let's get Well, sought is a that's the meaning, but sought, it's a tense of what? You're talking about the meaning, but I'm more on the technical. What tense is sought and what's well, I'm going to help you out here. This is the past tense. What is the present tense of sought? Thank you, Mernawati. Seek. This is what I wanted to teach. So there's seeking answers, past tense. It's a little unusual. They sought answers. So think, seek, sought. Yeah, Zachariah, past of seek. That's what I wanted to focus on. So yeah, ET1 is just young people. Of those 153 people, most of them were women. I think around 90 were women. Their age, I don't know their ages yet, but I'm sure it's going to be really underage 25. A lot of people, young people, maybe some high school students, maybe younger. It's just shocking. All right. So they're looking for the answers. They're seeking the answers. They sought answers. What's the surge? The last purple word. What's surge? Michelle, yes, they are seeking. They are seeking the answers. Vishuddha saw it asking for answers to the cause. You watched my live stream this morning? Yeah, I was in Taiwan. I was shocked. I didn't know what to expect. You know, it's the day after they cleaned away the bodies on the street and everything, but still you can feel uh it was just a bad feeling. I cannot articulate how I felt. It was just sad and bad. And surge is not necessarily about moving. It can be, but some sort of power, some sort of power, quickly, some sort of power surge. So the lights can surge if they went brighter. Anything, any sort of surge is a power. So in the alleyway, Yeah, in this case, in this context, yeah, the people suddenly started to move. Now, I don't think they're calling it a stampede. A stampede is when people are kind of running and people are getting trampled. There was no running. There was just too many people. So that pushing, that power of pushing, people fell, people died. Good question, Stacy John. I have a question. What's the difference between an incident and an accident? Well, an accident means uh, something happened. It was not supposed to happen, and usually in an accident, we don't blame people. Usually, it depends on the accident, but an accident is an accident. Uh, I'm sorry. It was just, I didn't plan it. It was not intentional. An incident is something bigger. So if you have a car accident, that's very small. Or you dropped your coffee off the desk. That was an accident. You didn't plan that. Those things happen. But an incident is something very big. That's more on uh, on an international level or a country level or even a company level. Something bad happens. It doesn't have to be an accident, just something bad happens, some sort of event. Bad event is an incident. Mayshao, everyone is on a delay right now. Hello, Raid. Did you hear about this news in your country? I think it's international news. The president here says we will have, I think, a week of mourning. The Uh, I tried contacting some of my students. I am very worried about next week. Oh, when I take attendance in my classes next week, there are some students that I know go to ET1. I sent a message. They didn't answer me, so I don't know what's happening. But oh, I am so even talking about it right now. My heart is beating fast because I got to go to class next week and I got to take attendance. And when I call the names, and then if some names are that person doesn't say here, I got to ask what happened to that student, and I'm not ready for the answer if it's bad. It's in Twitter today. Okay, Anna Maria, hello. Crowd is always dangerous. Well, not in Korea. Every year before COVID, this place had Halloween parties with large amounts of people. This is not a new event in that area. That this Lots of people have been there before. It's just for whatever reason something happened there. Uh Harry, that's why I prefer staying at home sleeping. Yes. Harry, that's how you should go through life. Just stay in the protection of your home and just have internet friends. Therefore, you're safe and not much drama in your life. All right, let's move on to the next article. Hey, Rumdi Son, let's move on to the next article. This is from Iran. Still, there are issues in Iran, and I feel for them, of course. Again, I'm not a political person, but I do believe in human rights, and I do believe in the government and police not hurting any citizen. So. Uh, Even in Korea, when I went to ET1 this morning, the police were there. And of course, we can film, we can do anything we want. The police, we do not, in Korea, we do not feel scared of the police. Uh, I never feel scared when I see police cars or policemen in Korea because they're not dangerous. And I know in other countries, when you see the police, you have a very different feeling. All right, let's take a look at the headline from Al Jazeera. At least 100 killed. Oh, this is not from Iran. This is from Somalia. Sorry. Let's go to the Iran one because I just talked about it. Iran protests, police fire on Maza Amini mourners. Here we have the word mourners again. Uh, so they're sad because of this incident that happened a few weeks ago. And as I was saying, in Korea, we never fear the police in Korea. The police never do anything, but an incident happened there. Let's take a look. Iranian police are reported to have fired live rounds. What are live rounds? When you're looking at the newspaper, they'll often say live rounds. What does that mean, live rounds? And tear gas on protesters and in Saqqez, I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, home city of Mahsa Amini, who died in custody after being arrested for allegedly wearing her hijab improperly. What are live rounds? Mohammed says the police are people fear police and soldiers here in Myanmar. Yes. Myanmar is a yes. Yes. The police are dangerous in Iran. No need to have much drama. Yeah, bullets, ammo. So when you see live rounds, that means they were shooting real bullets from their guns, not fake bullets, not rubber bullets, real bullets. I don't know if they're shooting at people or shooting in the air, but they were real bullets and tear gas in the home city of Mahsa Amini. She died in custody. So remember, in custody means the police were holding her. They did not arrest her. I don't think they were arrested. They were just holding her. It says after being arrested, I don't know if she was officially arrested. BBC says arrested, but I don't know if maybe someone could tell me, was she arrested or detained? There is a big difference. Detained is they're just holding them in custody. Arrested means there's an actual charge or something. And allegedly, newspapers, and if you're watching the news on TV and newspapers, they always have to use this word allegedly, which means it's not a fact yet. So this is for legal protection. They have to say this is the story. We don't know if it's 100% fact. So they always use the word allegedly because that protects them, because it means they're not lying. But I think we can all agree on the story, but the newspapers always have to say allegedly to protect themselves. The last sentence there, thousands gathered near the grave of the Kurdish woman and clashed, some sort of fight, not an official fight, but something. I don't know what happened there with the officers. So that's happening in Iran. And I think the president said the protests have to stop. The protests have to stop, which is sad. I wonder if people will still continue to protest. Again, it's not my politics. But again, at a basic level, I do support. I don't support governments and police that hurt the people. I like Korea, which we're never scared of the police. They clashed. They faced off. We could say face as an idiom for clashed. We could say faced off, or phrasal verb faced off, which would mean some sort of fighting. Faced off. Learn spoken English. Hello, because of the hijab. And Mohammed, how old are you, Mohammed? Are you a young person or an older person? I do realize this is more of a generational issue with the hijab. The younger people they have access to the phone and they see, around the world and what's happening. So it's harder, every country, it's harder for the older generation to keep the traditions when there is a new international culture growing from the phone. And apps like TikTok and WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube now, where it's changing the young people around the world. And I would say they're becoming a little more progressive because of phones. Thank you, Lavanya. Got me a super sticker. Lavanya is my super student because I couldn't afford coffee today. Now Lavanya gave me some coffee budget. Thank you very much, Lavanya. I really appreciate that. In Iran, I don't know. Maybe does the media report on these issues in Iran? I'm not sure. Oh, Muhammad's 24, so Muhammad might. Again, I don't want to get political, but Muhammad, take care of yourself, Muhammad, and Salome, if you're watching. Uh, I'm going to move on to the next topic. I'm going to go back to the. Okay, Muhammad says we're in a bad state. I understand that. That's why I'm talking about this issue for the second time. All right, number two, we went back. At least 100 killed, 300 hurt in heinous Mogadishu car bombings. Mogadishu, I believe, is the capital city of Somalia, or one of the major cities of Somalia, the country in Africa. 100 killed, 300 hurt in heinous car bombings. What is heinous highlighted there? Sleepwalker jumps in right away. Disgusting, awful. Yeah, something is terrible. It is heinous. Very, very bad. Heinous. Heinous. You want to emphasize, it is a top level of bad. There's synonyms, many synonyms for bad. Bad, awful, terrible, horrible, disgusting, awful. I said awful twice. Anyway, heinous is at the top. So that's happening in Somalia. At least 100 people have been killed and 300 wounded in two car bomb explosions in the capital, Mogadishu. Okay, it says capital city, Mogadishu, blaming the Al Shabaab armed group. And what is an armed group? They have arms. What does armed mean? Heinous can be ugly too. She looks heinous, terrible, ugly. And Sleepwalker, people with guns. Yes, armed. If you are armed, that means you have a weapon. It doesn't have to be a gun. It could be a knife. Any sort of weapon means you're armed. Armed group, they are militants or terrorists, however you want to phrase that. And Ramji Sun, yeah, a group with weapons, an armed group. So the Al Shabaab, they were linked to Al Qaeda terrorist group. I don't know why. From what I know of Somalia, that is a chaotic place. That's not a happy place in the world, in Somalia. So if anyone from Somalia is here, let me know. I have questions. The last sentence there, the death toll from the twin blasts is expected to rise further. So, what is the death toll? The number of dead people. So, the toll is amount, death toll. You'll see the news always use this expression, death toll, the amount of people dead. How many people died? They're going to use the death toll from twin blasts. And I thought that's a good way to express two explosions because there was two car bombings, and they expressed it instead of two explosions. They used another way to express that as twin blasts. So that's good writing from Al Jazeera. Twin blasts, two explosions, double explosion. Yeah, the number of deaths. So, what is happening in Somalia? I think this was some education ministry or minister of, or the education department, something like that. I don't know in detail the issue. The article didn't go in, but it's bad, car bombings in your country. Yeah, I'm going to say that's a bad thing wherever you are, and that's not the way to solve any issues. It just makes it worse. The Ministry of Education. There you go. Ministry of Education. Arwa Abdi. Thank you. Ar- I'm sorry I'm late. Okay, well, better late than never. So you got to think, the first story, South Korea and the Iran, and we got a lot of bad news this week. But I promise you, not everything we talk about will be bad. I try to bring in some neutral or happy news. Here, let's go on to number 4. Musk, in control of Twitter, ousts top executives. Okay, so this is Elon Musk in control of Twitter. We are on YouTube right now and Facebook. Twitter, I don't really use it. Do you use Twitter? Rumdi Sun says, why news use the most advanced vocabulary? Is it mandatory? The news uses formal words. These are usually precise words, not really slang. Uh, and, not all newspapers use the most advanced vocabulary. So some newspapers use easier English, some newspapers use more advanced English. Um, this is from AP News, Associated Press. I would say they're just normal news, and I'm not bringing in the worst. All the vocabulary I talk about in this lesson, you should know. It's all important. So I am editing what I teach you. I am teaching you what you should know. So if I have something highlighted in purple, you should know that. That's why I'm doing this. And all right, I'm looking for people who use Twitter. I don't use it. Mayshell uses Twitter. What do you use Twitter for? Oh, I also learn English from Twitter. That's interesting, Mayshell. I don't use Twitter, but some of my friends use it. All right, so we have oust, which Zachariah Hussein fires. Yeah, if you oust something, you kick it out, you get it out. It's not necessary. In this case, it's fired, but it's not always fired. You get something out, you oust it, you remove it, get it out. Here's another expression: axed for fired. And yeah, forcing to leave. You kick it out, get out, oust. Lavanya has a Twitter account. That everyone may have a Twitter account doesn't mean you use it. Mernawati to force someone out of his position. So yeah, Musk in control of Twitter ousts top executive. So he went in and kicked them out. Let's look at the little article paragraph I wrote here. Elon Musk has taken control of Twitter and ousted the CEO, chief financial officer, and the company's top lawyer. Musk is in charge of the social media platform. The value of this deal is around $44 billion. That's a big deal. So, big event in the USA. I guess the world, right? If we're all using Twitter, I tried to market my channels, YouTube, my content on all social media, but it's very difficult for me to do anything on Twitter. And actually, this live stream is being broadcasted on Twitter also, but usually nobody watches it on Twitter. So I failed on Twitter. I don't know how many. I think I have about. I don't know. I'm going to take a quick look. I don't check Twitter. How many followers do I have on Twitter? Uh, I have 1,778 followers, which, is a lot, but considering my other platforms have more followers, Twitter is quite low. Anyway. Oh, Lavani uses this for every day. So you get your news from Twitter? Are you studying? Salma says Twitter is more for gossip and clashes, in my opinion. It seems like a toxic place um, where people just yell at each other about political opinions. Ramdi Sun, $44 billion is a significant amount of money. Yes. Twitter does not make a lot of money. I think Elon Musk is buying Twitter for the power because a lot of politicians, a lot of movie stars, a lot of important people use Twitter. So it's a good place to control, to have power, not to make money. I don't think Twitter makes much money. It might in the future. And Ramdi San has 2 Twitter accounts. 2. All right. Well, that's the U.S. news, the big U.S. news. Let's move on to the U.K. The U.K. Sunak pledges to fix Truss's mistakes after becoming third UK PM in 7 weeks. All right. What is a pledge? What is a pledge? Amjad, hey man, welcome. And Ramdi San, a promise. Yes. When you make a pledge, you make a promise, a strong promise. Hey, Shell, Twitter is toxic, but good for learning spoken English, I think. Well, good to know. Hey, everyone, go to Twitter for learning English. Go wherever you like to learn English. I see the world most top news and what happens in the world, so I use it. I follow Lavanya. Do you follow any English people? Tweets? I don't know how to express that. I may make a promise. So Rishi Sunak is the new prime minister in the UK, and he pledges a promise to fix Liz Truss's, the previous prime minister's, mistakes. And he's the third UK prime minister in 7 weeks. So they have a lot of a lot of transfer in power, and this might be amazing, especially to Sleepwalker and other people in your country. How long has your current prime minister or president been in power? Amjad, yeah, thank you, Amjad. Make a promise. How long has your current leader of your country been in power? Because look at this, in the UK, 3, they had the transfer of power. Let's take a look at the article. Rishi Sunak officially became Britain's third prime minister in 7 weeks on Tuesday, I highlighted acknowledging that mistakes were made by his predecessor as he sought, there we see sought again, to bring stability to the UK after months of political and economic turmoil. So, what does it mean when we acknowledge? When we acknowledge something? Uh, Aware of, yeah, that's one sense. But when you acknowledge mistakes were made, what is it trying to tell us when they're using that word acknowledge? Sama. Oh, 5 years and a half. He took a second mandate up to 2027. Yeah, that's pretty long. And Zachariah, yeah, in this case, acknowledge means admit, not trying to hide. He came in and said, yes, we made, or Liz Truss's government made mistakes. So he acknowledged, he admitted it, recognized, yep. So they did not try to hide it. When you acknowledge something, you own up to it. You admit, yes, we made mistakes. What's a predecessor? Excuse me. Most of Twitter's other countries' news is English language. I don't know any English channels. You should. I recommend. What I like about English is it's around the world. So I notice in Korea, Koreans get news in their language, Korean, but the news is controlled in Korean, right? The newspaper companies and the government, they control everything Koreans know about their country and sometimes think about their country, and they censor. So I always tell my students, if you really want to know the truth on some issues, yeah, read the news in English, because I have a lot of issues here. I can look at CNN America, their opinion. I could look at BBC, the UK opinion. I could look at Al Jazeera, Reuters, Associated Press. I got all these international news sources that don't always share the same opinion. But in a country with one language, it's difficult to get the truth. And predecessor, yeah, previous. So everyone repeat after me: predecessor. And there we have sought again. We mentioned before, seek, past tense, sought. And what is the turmoil? He wants to bring stability because right now there's chaos, no order. You want to bring order, stability, everything calm down after months of political and economic turmoil. Now, what is the turmoil? Liz Truss was prime minister for a month and a little bit or something, and then Boris Johnson before her. Amjad, here in Iraq, government had lots of mistakes. Hey, Amjad, in every country, the government has mistakes. Economic shock, turmoil. Yeah, the turmoil is a kind of chaos. Unstable. 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 No, unstable. A lot of chaos, turmoil, a lot of confusion and chaos. Turmoil is not a good word you want to express. So political and economic turmoil means it's very chaotic and not stable. Meltdown is a good word, but I think meltdown is too strong. Meltdown would mean very that's too strong. So turmoil is not as strong as meltdown. Meltdown is just something collapsed. Turmoil, ups and downs. What's the instability? It's instability, unstable situation, confusing. I'm not explaining it enough. I'm going to go to my assistant teacher, Oxford. I try not to use dictionary so I can kind of get the nuance of a word. All right, so turmoil, a state of great worry in which everything is confused and nothing is certain. So basically confusing and unstable and people are worried. But Rishi Sunak, what makes him extra significant is he's a person of color because his parents, I believe, they came from India, and he is still a practicing Hindu. Great, very progressive for the UK. Turbulence in the economy. Turbulence in the economy. Yep. I think every country has political and economic turmoil. That's just normal. Isn't that normal condition of a country? Nothing special. All right, let's go on to number 6. All right, this was recommended by someone in my WhatsApp group. Thousands attend Pakistani journalist Arshad Sharif's funeral. See, the first Indian PM in UK. Well, he is not Indian. He was born in the UK, as far as I know. So technically, he's from the UK. He's British. His parents certainly were born in India, but I'm sure they emigrated to the UK, and I don't know if they have dual citizenship. But yeah, he's the first prime minister of Indian descent. His ancestors he descended from his ancestors from India. Zachariah, he may be of color, but he is a privileged background. That is 100% true of almost all politicians. So he's as I've read, he's very rich. Uh, but usually politicians do have a privileged background. So I don't think that really makes him that special. But let's judge him by his actions, not his background. Always judged by the actions. All right, thousands attend Pakistani journalist Arshad Sharif's funeral. Let's take a look. Thousands of people chanted revolution as journalist Arshad Sharif was buried after being shot and killed under mysterious circumstances in Kenya. Sharif was among the top news anchors in Pakistan. The Kenyan police have acknowledged, again, we see acknowledged, the journalist was shot dead in what they call a case of mistaken identity. So, from what I know, this journalist was in Kenya and he was shot in the car or something. And yeah, it says mistaken identity. The people that shot him thought he was someone else. So, yeah, uh, let's go back to chant. Sleepwalker says, speak out loud, chant. Speak out loud, but many people, yeah, are saying it together. Many people are together saying this revolution, revolution, or whatever they would say in their local language. Many people, revolution, revolution, revolution. Powerful words. And then we have under mysterious circumstances is a common expression. Under mysterious circumstances, which means looks suspicious. We cannot trust the truth of the story. Something is strange. Something is off if it's under mysterious circumstances. Something doesn't make sense. So that journalist was shot and killed under mysterious cir- uh, circumstances, very suspicious. The Kenyan police have acknowledged, so they admitted the journalist was shot dead in what they called a case of mistaken identity. All right, something. And yeah, I think the Pakistani people have a right to ask questions and demand the truth. Getting, a top journalist shot and killed under some mysterious circumstances. I don't want to give an opinion, but I would agree that we need to ask a lot of questions, and there needs to be more transparency from the Kenyan government and the the Pakistani government and the police, anyone involved. There has to be absolute transparency because your top journalist is killed because of mistaken identity. They thought he was someone else. I don't know. Do I have anyone from Pakistan in the group? Yeah, chant can be sometimes a song. Revolution, revolution. How about everyone watching me now? Let's chant revolution, revolution. Maybe it's dangerous to chant that in your country. Hitmen involved? Maybe. I don't know the full story. Um, it just doesn't look good. Bravo. Bravo for Mike's English Lab. All right, let's go on to number 7. 120,000 parade at Taiwan Pride celebration despite rain. I want you to focus on that despite. So what is a pride celebration? Nothing. He just spoke the truth. And exposed the corruption. So there you go. We have motive to kill him. Ask questions. Can we say bravo in English? Yes, you just saw a native speaker use bravo in English. Yes. So in spite of, I think that's what Zechariah was trying to say. Sleepwalker, in spite of. So kind of you're going into that although family, although, despite, in spite of. Uh, anyway, what is Pride celebration? Lestari, glad to see you. What's the topic? You can see on the screen 120,000 parade at Taiwan Pride celebration despite rain. Anyone know what pride? Well, no one's answering. Maybe they don't want to answer. So 120,000 parade at Taiwan Pride celebration. A Pride parade is for the gay community, lesbian, gay, bi, trans, queer community. If I know a lot of people in your country right now, you probably don't have a Pride parade, but in a lot of English speaking or Western aligned countries, we have the Pride Parade once a year where the gay community comes out and they have a parade on the street. So let's read the article here. It says 120,000 paraded in the streets of Taipei as the city's 20th annual every year Pride event celebrated the LGBTQ community Saturday in spite of the rainy weather. So I highlighted in spite of because in the title they're using despite, and in the article they're using in spite of. It's the same thing. You can use both. Both are interchangeable. Well, I don't want to say 100% interchangeable. They mean the same thing, but the grammar will have to be uh, altered a little bit. And Taiwan has become the first place in Asia to recognize, what is that? To recognize same sex marriage in 2019. This is a festival, it's a parade. So the group, any parade, they're just walking down the street celebrating. That is a parade. It's not a parade, it's a little different than festival. Admit it, recognize. So in this case, to recognize is more of an official, legal acknowledgement or admission. So Taiwan, Asia is pretty conservative. Like I'm sure a lot of people watching now, you are from conservative countries that do not support the gay community. And the same thing in Asia, China, Japan, even here, Korea, they don't really have so much support for the gay community. So Taiwan is kind of special in Asia because they do support the gay community. They have the Pride celebration, the Pride parade. They have that in Korea too, with a lot of people protesting that on against the Pride parade. But Taiwan is very progressive because they recognized, so officially and legally, same sex marriage, man, man, woman, woman marriage in 2019. That is very progressive for Asia. Of course, countries like my home country, Canada, we recognized same sex marriage 20 years ago, and America has recognized that. But certainly, Taiwan, uh, I know Sama, I think France recognizes same sex marriage, right? Yeah, we have pride parades in Korea. Yeah, I've seen them, and so good. It's good for a country to accept that, but I don't want to get too political. So yeah, good for Korea to allow people to have their parade, and they legalized it. Is it legalized in your country? That's why I like Taiwan. It is very shocking to me because Asians are very conservative, very traditional. Uh, there's, it's still, I'm sure, like your countries, if someone is gay or lesbian, they will probably keep that a secret in Korea, in Japan, in China. Thailand is very open. Thailand is completely different. Thailand is very, very open, but I consider Taiwan more on the conservative side. Yes, in 2013, okay, we were late compared to other European countries. Okay. Now, interesting point. Zachariah Hussein says Western influence. And this is something I don't agree with, that uh, people are blaming like Americanization, Western influence. I think that's just modernization. That is not Western thought or you guys, this is an opinion, and you guys are free to disagree with me, and I'm not going to be angry. I'm just giving out an opinion, so don't cancel me. People say, "Oh, that's Americanization or that's Western influence." I think it's modernization. I think human rights is not an American idea. Americans might be very, first on making laws, but it's not an American idea. Human rights is a world. Every country believes in human rights and protecting human rights, protecting women, protecting minorities, protecting certain groups that the majority might not like. So that I consider that modernization. If a country finally realizes, hey, we need to protect these groups, or hey, we have to give these groups a voice, or hey, we should not discriminate against these groups, or we should try to help or talk to these groups. I don't consider that Western influence. I just consider that modernization. The country is modernizing, or they're you can disagree. Again, if you're coming from a religious angle, like you are very religious, then what I said might not apply. Obama used to pressure Africa to accept his ideals. Yeah, there's America does pressure countries to modernize, not just on these issues, but financial regulation. Like the newspapers, they and your country will point out, oh, Obama is pushing us to accept gay people, but Obama or the states is also pushing, hey, less corruption, hey, financial regulation, hey, democratic representation. So Obama's not just going around the world or pushing one thing. He is pushing many things. And yeah, it's up to the country to decide what we're ready for. And Taiwan was ready early. France was a little bit not so ready in Europe. But, every country will make these big changes as they modernize. And yeah, some countries are not ready for some progressive thought. And I'm not ready for some progressive thought. Uh, anyway, that's that article. So of the 7 articles that we got through without fighting too much, I'll just do a quick review. We talked about Korea. I was in Itaewon this morning. Terrible, terrible issue. I'll just see if there's an update on how many people died or what's happening here. It's at yeah, it's still at 153. 56 men, 97 women. Oh, I can't even read this. 26 foreign nationals. So 26 people that are not Korean. 26 people that are not Korean from 14 different countries. Oh, yeah, I can't read that. So we talked about the Korean issue. Oh, yeah, the parents certainly don't deserve, or the victims certainly don't deserve that. This shouldn't have happened, right? Young people shouldn't be dying for any reason, especially when they're trying to have fun. We had lockdowns for 2 years, and of course, young people are eager to go out and have a good time. I don't blame them. but it's up to the police to make sure it's safe. Was this the first such Korea always has incidents. Seems like every year in Korea there's an incident, or probably every country, but for crowding and people died. I believe this is the first incident, but there have been big incidents in the past where young people have died, and I'm not going to talk about that because I'll start crying again. All right, so that was the first one we talked about. We did talk about Mogadishu, the country, Somalia. It's one of those chaotic countries that I hope they get organized. I hope they have good leadership, not corruption. They need good leadership there to fix up the country. We talked about Iran again, this issue, the struggle in Iran. Uh, I hope I got to give some opinion here. I hope this issue just doesn't end. I hope it keeps going. I hope the Iranians continue to put pressure on the government and the police. Uh, a citizen should not fear the police. The police are not supposed to be the weapon of the government. The police are there to protect the citizens. So just on that point alone, in any country, you have to convince me that what the police are doing. Are they protecting the government, or are they protecting the people? Never should a policeman hurt someone who did not hurt someone else. I mean, if I'm shooting people, yeah, police should hurt me. But if I steal something, I didn't hurt anyone. They shouldn't hurt me. They should put me in jail, but they shouldn't hurt me. And of course, hijab, nobody should be hurt because of hijab. No one should die. That's really inexcusable. I always hope peaceful, peaceful action. It's not Western culture. I heard people. I think the gay is not Western culture. I think gayness is in every country, but certainly the country accepting the people, like America accepts the gay community and gay marriage, and they're pressuring Korea to do that. And Korea's gonna say, well, that's your Western American thinking. No, I think it's just I think it's modernization. I think eventually every country will have to face and accept certain groups in their country. I always avoid the crowd. Yeah, avoid the crowd. Yeah, Korea is progressing. I agree. Korea is progressing on this issue, but not. They're not. A few more years, they might accept it. They're getting there. They're getting there. It's important to allow. Don't force countries. Allow the people to be educated on the issue. And I know a lot of people, we want change today. That would be great, but that is not the best way. If you're insisting change immediately, you're going to have clashing. But gradual change gets, I think the country will change faster if more people are not pressure, or a little pressure, but the people accept it themselves through education. Anyway, Elon Musk took over Twitter, kicked out the top people. He's in charge of now he's in charge of a media company. He's more powerful now. He is more powerful. I have no opinion on this, whether it's good or bad. Let's judge from his actions. Let's see what he does. Of course, Lavanya, what is your opinion of a gay relationship? Uh, I'm okay. It doesn't involve me. Uh, I do not think any group, whether they're gay or religious or a different race, I don't think any group should be oppressed. And a gay relationship, that's fine. It doesn't involve me, and they're doing their own thing, and I think they should be protected because it's not just about that. Any group, women or even religious groups, they should all be protected from other people who don't agree. Thank you for sharing. I had a bad experience with my hijab in police a few years ago. Yeah, I do remember we had a video chat, and you were a little concerned about the he I don't know what you call them, the morality police or whatever. Uh, yeah, stay safe, stay safe. You say I hope everything will be fine soon. Uh, and that kind of implies that everything goes back to normal. And personally, I don't want that. I want some sort of change. So there might, transition periods in countries are ugly, as Iran is going through now. There is some sort of, I hope there's some transition in thinking, and it's going to be messy, it's going to be ugly, but I hope change comes. What I really don't want is it goes back to how it was before. So I hope everything is fine soon, but with change. Cab Dirasak, please, your voice slow. Wow, I speak so slow already. Sorry, man. Zachariah. Meanwhile, in France, women with hijab are harassed while the nude ones are encouraged. I think the word nude is a little strong, but yeah, women wearing sexy clothing. Yeah, that's a good point. I can't really argue against that because the opposite of hijab or the burqa would be Western. I don't want to say modern. I want to say Western culture, where not Western because I see it in every country now. The girls, especially wearing very sexy, tight clothing. Uh, yeah, I don't think that should be encouraged, but for me, both cases, it's up to the person doing that. I think France just doesn't want their culture to be like that. So very complicated issues. I can't really comment on that. Zachariah Hussein, laws against certain people. Western countries are very open to that, but yeah, I can't comment. So Zachariah, Layla, this has nothing to do with Islam. Islam is all about tolerance. Again, there's so many countries that follow Islam, and in those countries, there's so many different groups that interpret the religion in different ways, as every religion. So, um, you know, if I go to Indonesia, their brand of Islam is very different. If I go to Saudi Arabia, right, it's the same religion, but you'd think it's completely different by the cultures in those countries. Dress is our personal option. Like right, hijab is part of Islam. Well, there's a lot of countries that yeah. I don't think there's the debate on that. I think it's if I'm a woman and I'm not Muslim, can I, that's one issue. That's not the issue. Uh, you know, I'm not going to get into this because I don't know. I'm not Muslim. I don't live in those countries. So my opinion is not important. The burqa. Yeah, the burqa. Okay. Salma, you're going to get me in trouble. The burqa. So I'll ask that to Zechariah. What do you think of the burqa? Don't ask me. I'll ask Zechariah. What do you think of the burqa, Zechariah? We're getting me canceled. That's what we're doing, Pallavi. Anyway, we also talked about the UK Prime Minister change. Uh, his parents were from India, so he's of Indian descent. He's of color, very progressive for the UK. I'm very happy that Rishi Sunak is Prime Minister. Um, I don't know about his politics, so I don't know. I'm not happy about that, but I am happy that he represents, uh, you know, person of color and a different religion. I am happy about that. Drink first. I do not have coffee money, Harry. Excuse me. Leave the topics. Yeah. Good advice. And the thousands attended Pakistani journalist Arshad Sharif's funeral. Yeah. He was killed under mysterious circumstances. So I hope the Pakistani government and the Kenyan government are transparent. That's the words I want to use. Transparent means open and honest. They're not hiding anything, they are telling the truth, which is good for governments to do, right? And the last one was the gay pride parade. So, yeah, we talked about a lot of sensitive topics. Uh, And yeah, I don't want to trigger anyone. Trigger means I touch some sensitive spot, and I'm sure probably everyone I touched a little bit sensitive spot, but I'm just talking about the news. I gave some opinion, but if you're upset, that's fine. Don't worry about it. You're free to express yourself or disagree in the chat because I want to learn too, and I don't know all about these issues. I'm ignorant about everything. And of course, if my students put stuff in the chat and they say a different opinion, I do read it, I do listen. Uh, I asked in the WhatsApp group, does anyone have any news from their country? And you did not answer. Thanks a lot, Zachariah. All right, I will end this live stream in 2 or 3 minutes. So, any final comments? Let me know, and we'll come back to big screen. Let's go back to the news. Stacy, there's a lot of terrible news around the world. It never ends. But I believe there are also people who are trying to make a better place. Stacy, I personally believe the world is getting better. Without a doubt, the world is getting better. Uh, you say, I hope we can hear happy news more than bad news in the future. Yeah, I don't think I had happy news today. I'll try to bring in more happy news. But I do believe the world is getting better. I do believe this phone and the world being on the mobile phone is making the world better because all these countries are seeing and hearing and watching what people are doing in other countries. They're learning, they can support them, they can change their own society. So I think the mobile phone is making a better world, my opinion. What do you think? Is the mobile phone making a better world? So thanks, Stacy. Yeah, what do you think, Stacy? Lavi, when did you ask? Maybe you're not in the group. I asked it in World English 1, World English 2. I don't think you're in those groups. Layla is busy with her family. Her sister had a new baby, so she has to help out. We miss Layla. Lestari, in Indonesia, it is up to the people how they want to dress themselves, even if they are Muslim. For sure, they're not allowed wearing swimsuits in public places. Well, your first sentence contradicts your second sentence. You say it's up to the people how they dress themselves. But in your second sentence, you say, no, it's not up to the people. There are restrictions. So, Lestari, your first sentence, second sentence, conflict. It's not up to the people. There are rules. Zachary, no news is good news. Um, no news can mean the people are silent because they're scared of being killed. Well, I was eating dinner for a while. It seems like a lot of things happening here. All right. Thank you, May. Bye, Lavanya. Okay. No, Robin, different. I think it's wasting time and spoiling kids with tick. Well, yeah, if Zachariah, I would agree with that. Of course, there's pros and cons. Uh, but if a nation needs to change and there's some sort of revolution and they can communicate very quickly with each other. Remember, 20 years ago, we're using landlines for communication. So if something is happening in another city, the government just cuts the landline. But now we have so many different ways to communicate. It's easier for countries to have change if they need it. At a macro level. At a micro level, if we're looking at the kids, yeah, what are they doing on TikTok? Get the kids off of TikTok. TikTok is trash. And YouTube, what are you guys doing on YouTube? Oh, you're studying English. But my channel, Sean English, people around the world, they don't have an English teacher in their community, their town, their village. They don't have an English book. They have Wi-Fi and they can go on and learn English. So just with YouTube teaching English, it reaches out and helps so many people not just learn English, have more job opportunities, get more information. I think there's more pros for the phone, but certainly it is opinion, and you are right to say, what was it? It is wasting time. I waste time and spoiling kids with TikTok and rubbish. I would agree with that statement. Robin, maybe we'll discuss some articles, scientific or something. Yeah, that's, Sleepwalker, I did look at an article, an academic article, and I thought it was about English, studying English. They did some research, and I was like, should I talk about this? And, not for daily English homework. So I might do that in the future for Learn English Alive or IELTS Insider, but not for the daily English homework. But I did consider that. It is a good idea. Your live streaming. Oh, thanks a lot. What's your recommendation for news website teacher? BBC, CNN. Like I put up headlines here, and so I think you can handle if you could handle my headlines and my first, if you could read the headline and the first paragraph, you got the main points of the story. Just practice it. And you saw a lot of my news articles kept repeating the same words. Two articles used mourn, two articles used sought, two articles use acknowledge, and they're from different sources. So they're repeating the same words again and again. So if you just start reading the newspaper, you're going to start seeing the same words pop up many times. Science is interesting. Yep. Okay. I think everyone wants me to bring in something really, really difficult. Thank you. Thank you. YouTube is a university. Yes. Oh, sleepwalk. Yes, some research data comparison. Maybe I'll start with my research papers. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for coming. And I will talk about headlines in the future. So if you're in the WhatsApp group here, let me put up the WhatsApp description below. Join the WhatsApp group and say, hey, Robin, I just watched your live, and I'll put you in the right group. I have many WhatsApp groups, so I'll put you in the right group for whatever group. Let's see if anyone's right. Okay, I'm going to end the live stream now. Thanks for coming, everyone, and see you in the WhatsApp group. Bye, everyone. Take care.